Okay, here we go. Welcome to another Camtasia Hacks. My name is Steve Burnich, and in this video, I want to show you the power of libraries. If you haven't used libraries in Camtasia yet, you've got to check them out, especially if you use the same, assets like certain videos or images or text or really anything you put on your timeline. If you reuse it over and over and over and over, create a library. And let me show you what I mean. So this timeline has a lot of tracks on it. I'm showing you my intro title here, okay, and also my outro title right here. And the bottom track is actually the background music I use in the videos. And so I'm creating these tutorials over and over. I'm using the same style of intro title or the opening title's the same every time, except for I got to change the text according to the video, and the end title is the same every time as well. And I reuse pretty much the same background music over and over. So to make this simple, so I don't have to open up a project and copy and paste or anything like that, first I'm going to prep my items on my timeline here for for a library. So what I mean by that is I'm going to group them. First thing is I want this background, so everything but the text here, I want that in its own group. So I'm just gonna, let's see, I'm gonna grab everything and scroll down, and I'm gonna hit Command G on my keyboard, and that's in a group. And I like to, you can't see the menu here, but if you right click, I'm going to rename this group. I like to name my groups just to stay organized. I'm going to call this intro, let's take the caps off, intro background. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my title here. So this is going to change every time, or at least this part, the actual title of the video is going to change every time. So I'm going to take all this, I'm going to put it in its own group, and we will rename that to title text. There we go. Let's go ahead and bring it all the way down, make sure it stays in line. It's a little bit hard to, when you have that many tracks, got to bring it all the way down, takes a minute. Okay, so let's just make sure that all stayed intact here. Zoom out on my canvas a little bit so we can see it. Okay, there it is. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and group both of these groups, and so I'll select them and hit Command G and rename that. Again, you can't see my menu, it's going off the recording area, but that's okay, you get the idea. I'm going to call this CH as in Camtasia Hacks, and we're going to call this intro, or let's call it opening title. Okay, good. Okay, going to the end here, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to grab this. Since this never changes, the text here is not going to change. I'm actually going to just grab everything in this stack, and I'm going to group it, and we're going to call that CH end title. Okay, got everything on my timeline prepped that I want to create a library with. So let me just move my, give myself a little more room here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is go up to library, click on the library drop down, and I'm going to create a new library. I'm going to call this Camtasia Hacks, and we'll start blank. Okay, now I'm going to simply right click on each one of these groups, and you know what, I want you to be able to see my menu. Sorry about this. Let me just bring this group up here. and I'm going to say add to library. And it's already named based on the name of the group, and just make sure you choose the correct library here. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the opening title. Add to library. CH opening title in CamtasiaHacks library. Great. I'm even going to add the background music. This way I don't have to go hunt for it every time. So again, I right click and choose add to library. Make sure it's named correctly and the correct library is selected, and add it there. And as you can see, now these assets are always contained in the CamtasiaHacks library. And let me just be clear, let me just remove this stuff off the timeline. When you start with a fresh new project, the libraries are independent of projects, meaning when you start a brand new project or you open up even another existing project, this library along with its assets are going to be there. So anytime you're working on any project in Camtasia and there's an item you want to add to a library, right click and add it to the library. And then when you open up, again, when you're in any project, you can just grab any of these assets and bring them down to your timeline. And they stay with Camtasia, not with the specific project. The library does anyways. And so what I do is I can set my project up just like that. And then of course I'll add the actual recording for the tutorial in here. But this stuff is already set up for me. And then when I get ready to export it, or before I export it, I'm going to open up this group and the title text group, and then I'm going to change my title. Oops. Okay. Might need to change some things, spacing around. Close that group up. And there you have it. So that's one of the main ways libraries can be extremely powerful, is you can save assets that you reuse and use over and over again in different projects. And just to give you a quick, I'm not going to go into details here, but you can rename libraries, you can delete libraries, and the nice thing is you can actually export a library and send it to another Camtasia user, and then they can import that library and bring it into their Camtasia. So it's a great way to share like branding elements with other Camtasia users if you're working on similar projects. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'd like to know your thoughts if you have any better ideas, how you might use libraries, and hit the subscribe button if you want to get more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching.